computer. Okay. All right, sweet. So we're going to kick things off today. So this is for the community forum. We're doing Hawkeye Community College. I'm not sure who wants to go first. The slide that I have is for the financial aid office. Do we want to start there with admissions, or what would you like to do?
Sure. I did the financial aid, so I can start.
Sure. Let me share my screen for you. I'll go into present mode here. Oh, can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a summary of some different things that we help provide to those in the area who attend Hawkeye. So if people have questions about how financial aid works in any way, shape, or form, we try to help them and connect them. So we participate in local FAFSA nights and different events that the community has. Once they have their FAFSA filled out, we can help them with understanding what their financial aid offers are, what that looks like against their bill. If they have to submit any kind of extra paperwork for some reason, so sometimes after the FAFSA is filled out, we have other questions or something that means we need more proof of something, we can help them with that. We also assist with scholarships in our office, so they can apply for scholarships if they're planning on attending Hawkeye through our scholarship portal, and it also gives them access to applying for external scholarships as well. So if we're told of local ones in the area, we add those, but there's also some that are more nationwide on there as well that they can apply for. Work study is also done through our office. So work study are different types of jobs that students can work on campus. So they have questions about if they're eligible for work study jobs, how they need to apply. We help direct them towards that. And then they can be a great resource for people while they're in school to be able to build connections and have a flexible way to be able to work while they're in school around their class schedule. We do one-on-one FAFSA appointments as well. So if anyone wants to set up an appointment with our office, we'll accommodate that to help them fill out the FAFSA. So if they just don't feel confident doing it by themselves, or maybe they just don't understand how the tax information works into that, we assist with that. And then we also do that on the other side. So maybe they're towards the end of their time at Hawkeye, they're getting towards repayment, or they just graduated and they're not sure who they have to talk to if they took out student loans. We try to help them understand who their loan servicer is, what repayment looks like, what to expect through that. And we also do presentations in classrooms for current Hawkeye students to help with that too. So we try to help with our own students and the community as a whole too. So if there are any other local organizations like the local college access network, for instance, if they host FAFSA nights or do anything like that, we assist with that as well. We are located in Hawkeye Center, like most of the offices at Hawkeye are. And so we have our email address there and our phone number as well. If anybody has any questions about how financial aid works or isn't sure what to do. We also understand that sometimes when people are in that stage where they're not sure what school to go to, they might have some general questions. They're considering Hawkeye, but they might be considering another school too. We'll help with any questions you have about filling out the FAFSA during that time. So if you're not sure if Hawkeye's where you're going to go, we'll still help get you through that application process if you need it for the FAFSA.
Awesome. So I have a quick question, Whitney. So because this is, intended for the immigrant refugee population, what do you offer for like people who don't have English as a first language? Do you have interpreters on site? Is it like Language Link, or what can someone expect if they're having trouble with like their FAFSA and filling those things out if they don't speak English?
Sure. So the FAFSA is online. It is available in English or Spanish. They can, if they want to do it on their own, they'd still be able to do that in Spanish. Gisela Baker in our office also speaks Spanish. So sometimes, if we have a heads up, we can see if Gisela is available to possibly help.
Okay, awesome.
And we also have, to jump in on what Whitney said, we also have an admissions rep, Ashley Sanchez, who speaks Spanish fluently. So she, as an admissions rep, she knows a little bit about everything across the whole college. So she would be able to assist as well.
Okay, very cool. And do you have anybody for French speaking people? No, okay.
I was just going to ask if Whitney could talk a little bit about who can and can't or should or shouldn't fill out the FAFSA, since, as Tracy mentioned, this is primarily for immigrant and refugee families. And so if a student is undocumented or has DACA, or it comes from a mixed status family where maybe they are citizens, but their parents aren't, like what do you recommend? What can you tell them, and what services are available for them?
Yeah, so you are still able to apply for the FAFSA if you're an eligible like alien. It'll ask for that number that you have. If your parents are undocumented, you can put zeros in for the Social Security number when I ask about parent information, and it'll still let you complete the FAFSA.
So it might be useful for people who have a situation like that to maybe contact your office.
Yes, I would agree. And or if they're in the high school and they're working with like an admissions rep like Abby, they can assist as well. They're mostly well versed. And then, if it gets into the nitty gritty, they know that they can call, our office like me and help get us more involved if it's getting some maybe past their area of expertise. But yeah, definitely available to help with those.
We had a question pop up. Is there an available list of language assistances offered?
So is that in general for Hawkeye, or they mean, I guess I'm not sure if you mean specific
for like
for us?
Yeah, so it sounds like like specific to like the Burmese language, Vietnamese, I think. Yeah, so I guess Lam, can you kind of expand upon that for Whitney, please?
Yeah, just wondering, I understand that there's Spanish interpreters, but is there like other available interpreters on site, or do you have like a partnership with others? How does that work?
Yeah, so Spanish is what we currently are able to assist with. Gisela Baker, our director, has let me know that our inclusion director, Rhonda, is working on putting together a list of that to be able to share, so that kind of information is more readily available.
Sure.
I can jump in on that as well. So we have Spanish material, a Spanish checklist, a tour in Spanish. So we were trying to host a Latino family visit day this weekend, but due to numbers, we were not able to host that visit. But in regards to Burmese and French, we do resource the Adult Learning Center often with that. So if we have students who need translation in Burmese, French, then we work closely with the Adult Learning Center to help them gain their English skills, because when they do come to main campus, we want them to graduate. And so then their English skills would have to be up to par to then go into the workforce. So in regards to main campus, we work closely with the Adult Learning Center to help those students gain the English skills to be successful. The Adult Learning Center has a lot of positive translation to get them registered with the information in Burmese, French, Spanish, to help them know where to go to then gain the English skills.
All right, that makes a lot of sense.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't have a lot of time, but just to plug in something really quick. I know I'm part of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Council as well. And one thing that we discussed before and we're trying to work on is understanding that we have a bigger refugee and immigrant population, whether to be the Burmese, the Bosnian, and we have the Spanish and the Vietnamese or whatnot. So we are working on some sort of a general work that applies to all the services all over campus to help with these language barriers, whether that to be the Bosnian, the Burmese, Spanish, or the French itself, right? Whether that to be through a third party or having somebody on campus. So that's something that we're discussing and still under progress to be covered across all the services on campus. But for example, the major ones, admission and financial aid, we still have, our resources that we help our students or the parents with when we need to.
Wonderful. Okay, any other questions pertaining to financial aid at Hawkeye or the FAFSA? Finances just confuse me in general, but I actually learned some things from our financial literacy thing not too long ago. So at any rate. Okay.
Whitney, do you want to talk a little bit, just because I think this pertains to your topic of scholarships? Do you want to give a plug of Last Dollar if they are able to use their social security number to fill out the FAFSA, and then as well as Scholarship Universe?
Sure, yeah. So our scholarships at Hawkeye, we have a a general application they'll fill out through our system to apply for scholarships. They do not all have the same requirements. So, some of them are looking at financial need through the FAFSA, some of them aren't. So, there's a variety in there. It's not all directed to a certain type of student. So we would encourage all students to apply. And then Last Dollar Scholarship is a scholarship provided by the state of Iowa. And so these programs are tied specifically to the program that the student is in. And so they are programs that the state of Iowa has determined are in demand and something that we need workforce for. So they are providing this scholarship to help kind of remove that barrier between students being able to go to school, complete that training so that we can have that kind of worker in our workforce. So for that, students just need to fill out the FAFSA by August 1st. At this time, that's the state's deadline, and be able, if they do that, they'll be considered for those. And the Last Dollar Scholarship will help with covering their tuition and their student activity fee here. So it's a pretty nice, large scholarship to be able to help a student get through school, and really helps with minimizing the amount of debt someone could potentially go through to finish those programs and get through school. So that's great. So the other thing is, like Lisa mentioned, we do have a Dare to Dream scholarship as well. And so that's one of our Hawkeye scholarships. And that one is specifically awarded to an immigrant or refugee student who don't have access to other forms of financial aid that would be state or federal government aid. So that's just one example that really fits this population specifically. So thank you for mentioning that, Lisa.
Wonderful.
Admissions also has a packet full of the undocumented students, immigrant students of packets of scholarships that students can fill out as well, that we found online for students.
Very cool. Okay, I'm gonna hit next on this one now. Career Services Center, assistance to students and alumni.
All right, that calls my name. All right, let me introduce myself really quick. My name is Yusuf Mikawi. I am the assistant coordinator of the Career Service Center here at Hawkeye Community College. A little bit of my background. I grew up in Egypt, 21 years of my life. Then I came to the US as an international student. I stayed as a refugee, then currently an immigrant. So I can relate to this population 100%. I can relate to all the struggles that they have gone through. I know how you're feeling. A little bit about my language abilities. I speak Arabic as my first language. English is my second, and je parle français un peu. I speak French a little bit. Don't try to test me in French. Don't try to bring me to translate for students in French, because I can barely handle a basic conversation in French. All right, anyhow, so what do we offer here in Career Services? Basically, this is an assistance for all the students and alums of Hawkeye. Once you step foot at Hawkeye, whether that to be part of the Adult Learning Center or part of the main campus, or even the Business and Community Center that's in Cedar Falls, if you are included in Hawkeye in any shape or form, we are here to help you with so many services. The first one is career exploration, is basically in simple language here, trying to help you figure out what you want to do in life, what career path that you would like to do right for the rest of your life. It's good to start that journey early and make sure that you are aligning everything that you do, whether that to be your work experience, your education, your training, certification, internship, all of that. The other thing that we help with is, of course, is resume and cover letter writing. It's a major step, of course, for all the students, right? And this is where they start their their journey to join the workforce. So we help with that. We help with resources, also in terms of interview prep, hints, tips, and practice. So mock interviews, sometimes we go to classes, instructors will come to us with their students to do mock interviews for students, and alums will come to us with specific job that they want to apply to and they want to prepare for the interview. So we do our best to kind of shape our conversation or questions in a way that's kind of applicable to that position, and we help them be prepared for that interview. In terms of job search, we have a lot of resources. I wanted to mention a specific one here, is the job board. We have a specific job board to Hawkeye Community College students and alums. So as a student, you'll join the job board. As an alum, you'll be able to as well stay there in the job board and benefit from the services of the job through the job board. The job board has a lot of resources, whether it be articles to read about advice for the job search, career exploration, cover letter, resume, interview, job search in general too. You'll have podcasts as well. Every month there's new podcasts published in there. And the major part of this job board, of course, is job board. There's a lot of jobs posted every day. And what makes this better than any other job board is all the employers that are active in this job board, they come through us through the Career Services office first. We have to vet them. We have to make sure that they are legit employers with legit job opportunities for our students. So make sure to utilize that if you are going to be a future student here at Hawkeye. And also there is of course a lot of opportunities to connect with employers, whether that to be a job fair or a networking event, and we have plenty of those as well. We are located at Braemar Hall, room 102. Our email, simple and easy, careerservices@hawkeyecommunitycollege.edu. And here's our phone number as well. This service, we do offer our services to anybody who comes and walk in. We don't necessarily advertise that, but this is a service if a community member who's coming for a community college, we don't necessarily say no. Yeah, so this is in brief what you are going to get here in Career Service Center. All right, that's it.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys are doing a lot of good work there. Any questions pertaining to Career Services Center or thoughts? Grievances, anything? Okay. Hopefully no grievances. Okay. All right, I'll go to the next slide here. This is the Adult Education and Literacy Vanjie Miller Adult Learning Center.
Hello, I'm Laura Heidelbaugh, and I'm the Director of Adult Education and Literacy at the Adult Learning Center. And we have a number of different programs and services, but our two major programs are the English language learning classes. These are for adult immigrants, refugees, asylees, DACA, a number of different possibilities, though not international students. It's for people who are living and working here, intending to stay here. And we offer these from pre-literacy, so for those who need to develop beginning literacy skills, through high advanced transition, those who are kind of getting ready to go into perhaps college or other post-secondary education and training. And then we also have our high school completion program. And these will be for students who did not finish high school for whatever reason and want to earn their equivalency diploma here with us. There are a couple different unique ways to do that. And there are very detailed explanations of those on our website, which I think we'll leave it at for today, although our website is there at the top. But so this could be if students maybe came close to finishing high school and just need a couple credits to be able to finish, or a more complex option is if they had gotten a post-secondary degree in their native country and wanted to be able to use that as well as some other steps to be able to sort of earn a high school equivalency diploma here now. In addition, we also have an adult basic skills class. And so this is for those who want to get their equivalency diploma, but also if they just need basic reading and writing, but basic reading and math within that class to be able to build up those basic skills. And then for students who are in those two programs, they may decide to go on into what we call IET, Integrated Education and Training. And for these individuals, they can still continue to work on their English language, continue to work on their basic skills, but they can also get some workforce training at the same time. We have a few programs that are credit. Most everything we do at the Adult Learning Center is non-credit, but we do have a CNC, a CNA, and a hospitality management program where they're being able to earn some college credits, get some credentials, but also still work on English, math, and basic skills. We also have a couple non-credit programs, so CDL and basic construction, where again, they're working on those in particular, learning basic construction, learning truck driving, but still working on English and getting those extra supports. We do also offer, new this year, a few ELL classes out at the Tyson plant. And those people register through Tyson, and they're selected by Tyson, but our teachers are there teaching. Additionally, we have a family literacy program that would be for students who are enrolled with us that are parents and want to perhaps receive some free books and some literacy activities. And they are learning how to be their child's first teacher while also being a student and developing their own literacy here with us. And then additionally, for all of our students, we have what's called career pathway services, similar to what was mentioned earlier, where we do some career exploration, goal setting, some action plans and follow-up. We also have some wraparound service options too. So if individuals need referrals to places in the community to be able to get some assistance, we also have some transportation assistance and some other related things. And then we also have transition services too. And so students who are wanting to go out to main campus or out to business and community education or other perhaps opportunities, they can get assistance as well. And Abby, for example, comes out and works with our students too, and some others to be able to help them transition out to our main campus. We connect them with some scholarships and FAFSA help and all of that. And then finally, something that is newer and growing, we also have a new volunteer program that we're working on where we have conversation partners for ELL students. And we're also, it's new, we've had just a little bit of it so far, but working on getting tutors for students too who need some extra help either in the English language program or the high school completion program. We do offer all of the classes as well as registration either in person or remotely. We strongly recommend in person. We feel it works best for most of our students, but we also have the remote class options. We also have loaner Chromebooks and hotspots if people need the technology in order to do that. And I do have the links on the bottom for our registration. Our registration for spring semester is happening now, and there's only about a month left. So now is the time to register at those links there. And then just one comment, I guess, related to what was said earlier with interpreters. Our registration form is a Google form that can be translated into most every language that we would see here, that we would highly recommend. Our flyers are in those languages as well. But we do have on site, we have those who speak Spanish or Bosnian, but we also have access to some Burmese and French interpreters as well. However, I would also say that our staff are skilled with, trained in ELL and working with ELL students. And so we're fairly skilled at being able to make ourselves understood and to help students understand as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I feel like for this the newcomers population, I feel like there's a lot going on, obviously. So to make the step to decide, hey, I want to go to college is a big deal. And so, reducing as many barriers as possible and easing that process is awesome. So I'm happy to hear that you have some things in place to better facilitate that. I also like that you mentioned the transportation services too that you offer, because that's a huge thing that we notice here just on the stuff that I do here at the health department. So that's great that you offer that as well. Any questions about the adult education and literacy? Okay. So I do, oh, go ahead.
Just one thing that I wanted to mention, to everyone about a tool that not necessarily the best tool when it comes to translation to other languages, but if you go to the Hawkeye General website and you go all the way to the bottom, at the bottom of the list that's mentioned at the bottom, there is the word translate, and you can choose whatever language that you want to choose in terms of translation to translate the whole website or the whole page for you, and will translate it for you. For me, the native language for me is Arabic. The translation is not perfect, but it gives you a good idea of what's presented there.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I think I'm gonna Abby is going to go next. Am I clicking the YouTube link, Abby? Is that
Yeah, so let's try that one.
okay? Let me stop my screen really quick because I have to activate the optimal.
Can
thing
you
here.
also pull up the campus map I just sent you?
Yes, for sure. Can you just
So for those of you who may not know me, my name is Abby Martin, and I'm an admissions rep that is at Hawkeye Community College. I'm going on my 4th year in my current position. I know it's kind of crazy. I can't believe it's already been 4 years. I feel like I just started some days. I work closely with Waterloo Schools at West High. I work closely with ELL counselor, Miss Houston. I go to East High every Thursday, West High every Wednesday, the Adult Learning Center, usually about every Monday or Tuesday evening. And then I go to Expo once a month, the Waterloo Career Center about twice a month. So I'm kind of around a lot in the Waterloo area. So that go-to person to kind of help you filter out which way to go, you're kind of safe to call me. I'm always happy to help, and I know a little bit about everything. But for those of you who never have been on campus, I wanted to show you just a quick 3-minute video of main campus, and it highlights some of the programs that we have at Hawkeye, or like the places that students like to hang out. And then I can briefly talk about some highlighted popular programs that are on campus, but there's an awful lot about the overall school. So I kind of also wanted to open it up to any admissions types questions after the tour.
The new healthcare law couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, because when you're pregnant, you need a lot of doctors.
For less than $30 a month, the whole family's covered.
New law, lower prices, more people qualify at healthcare.gov.
That was not a birth announcement for you guys.
So I was trying to clean out this storage space when I stumbled upon this little piece of paper.
I don't think
over
this
here.
is right.
And believe it or not, this was the start to my.
Okay, here we go.
I know. Okay, I was like, how do you?
Hi, my name is Abby Martin, and I'm an admissions representative here at Hawkeye Community College. Sorry we are not able to give you an in-person tour of campus, but I hope you learn a lot through our virtual campus tour. The first thing I want to point out is that Hawkeye is in a big circle, so it only takes about 3 to 5 minutes to get from one building to the next.
Hi, welcome to Bremer. We're in the Student Tutoring and Computer Lab. In here we can use any computer. There's over 80 computers, scanners and printers. We can also use tutors which are free of charge. In here they help us with Gen Ed classes, which include Maths, English, Science, or any history classes that you're going to take. Also, if you were looking for somewhere more quiet instead of here, you can actually head over to the library.
Hi, welcome to the Hawkeye Community College Library. We are home to a wide range of physical and electronic resources, books, periodicals in the back, databases, anything you could use for your research, studying needs, or even just personal interest. We have study rooms here that can be set up for individuals or groups, as well as a quiet room if you need to just unwind from a tough day.
Welcome to the Hawkeye Center. So this is home of Where Admissions, where you can find me for an in-person tour, as well as the financial aid office, where if you have any questions on your FAFSA or financial aid. The business office is here as well, if you have to pay a bill. Then we also have the bookstore, where it's a great place to buy all of the essentials, from clothing to books to school supplies. This is where you can find it. You also don't want to miss out on their free popcorn days. That's the best.
Are you hungry, just itching for a game of pool or ping pong? Or you just want your daily Starbucks fix? The Brock is the place to be. It's home to the Student Life, Student Lounge and our on-campus food court. The Brock is a great place for you to relax and unwind, but don't forget about the HESC.
One thing in college you do not want to neglect is your health. The Health Education Service Center has you covered, whether it's using the indoor weight room, the track, or joining a workout class. You can also catch a volleyball game, join intramurals, or play in a tournament. If you're feeling a bit under the weather, the Student Health Clinic is also here. All of this can be yours with your student ID. And there you have it, a quick glimpse of Hawkeye Community College. If you would like to have an in-person tour once we are open, you can email us, you can call us, or you can even text us to set up an appointment. Thank you for watching.
I promise I don't like to show that just for my fame. I actually don't love hearing my voice several times, but I have a lot of parents and students who find that helpful to just get a wide range of Hawkeyes and like what campus looks like from a virtual standpoint. Granted, it did not point out the career services or our Inclusion and Success Service Center that are very important on campus, but here's the campus map. And you can see, like I pointed out, it is just in a big circle. The gym would be the one that's on the little outside, as well as the athletic office, and Chickasaw for our police science students as the shooting range. So Hawkeye has a lot of programs that students can choose from in regards to doing the career and technical programs, or they can transfer and do their liberal arts classes. That's what I did as a student. I saw a lot of my friends do a mixture of both. So really, Hawkeye is a great place to start, no matter what your goal is. If it's to do English language learning classes, if it's to get gen eds, if it's to start an 8-week course for quick training, encouraging a lot of your students just to start here or to meet with me to kind of figure out what path do they want to go and who to connect them with. I'd be more than happy to be that person. Are there any like questions in regards to the admissions world at all, or any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, that looks pretty sweet. That was a fun little video. So I'm going to stop my screen again. I think that's all we have for additional stuff there.
It's free popcorn day, so I do my tour that day.
So sorry, KJ, that is a video from pre-pandemic. So we literally put that video together like in a matter of like 12 hours. It was so quick. And we do not have free popcorn days anymore.
Sad.
I know, it's a sad day. I always stop with my students and say, so this is the only lie in this video. The bookstore will now be the Inclusion and Success Service Center. And then the bookstore is now moved into the Brock Student Center. So I'm hopeful that they'll have free popcorn days again. But the bookstore used to. Sometimes Foundations does it, but it's not as consistent.
We're getting down to the bottom of the real issues at hand here. So that's good stuff. We need to know. Okay, great. So who's next?
I'm happy to jump in. Oh, Holly, did you want to go?
No, you go first, and then I can probably follow up on some of the things that you're going to talk about.
Okay, sounds good. So my name is Lisa Soliski. I am in student services and work with students from the point that they start their program through graduation. So my team is a team of 10 advisors, and we work with all programs across campus. And our job is to work with those students to register, enroll, and retain them through their programs. So once Abby has recruited them, brought them to graduation, or to orientation, we take over and try to get them to graduation. So we do a variety of things, focusing on scheduling of classes, making sure that course loads are balanced with students' lives. Obviously, we have some students who may need to go at a pace of 1 or 2 classes a semester to others who can handle a full course load. So we will assess with the student what they think they can academically handle and what program is the best fit for them. So I also see our responsibility very much as a referral center. So students who don't know what they want to do or are uncertain of that career path, we may work with Yusuf and Rachel over in the Career Services Center. And again, just connecting them around the campus to different resources. Another large part of our responsibility here on campus is to work what we call our alert system. So we work with faculty very closely in keeping an eye on how students are doing in the classroom and outreaching to those students who are struggling. So again, our job is to make sure that students have what they need to be successful and that we're connecting them to the various resources on our campus, whether that be tutoring, emergency funds, our food pantry, whether it's meeting with students on a regular basis to make sure that they understand the responsibilities of each course. So what's happening in that course? What are the due dates? So there's a group of students that I meet with on a weekly basis that literally they just need to check in and need some help. Also, as a part of that part of our position, we do work with our emergency funds for students or helping them through financial aid appeals or through connecting them to financial aid to get financial resources. So I think kind of in combination, our job is really to help the student from a holistic perspective while they're seeking a degree here at Hawkeye.
That's awesome. I didn't know that you offered that assistance there at Hawkeye. That's really incredible. I don't know of a lot of colleges that do that, like go that extra mile. So that's really cool. Would now be an appropriate time to share the student pantry video? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm Holly, I'm with the Hawkeye Foundation, and I work very closely with Lisa and her staff. Our office actually distributes the emergency funds. And then we have responsibility for the AmeriCorps Vista that coordinates our food pantry. So we have a website for our food pantry. On that website is just a quick video. When we first opened, we wanted to show people kind of what it looked like so that they weren't intimidated to come in. What I like to say about the food pantry is it's not an emergency or a crisis resource. It is a student resource. A lot of times students will opt out of things if they don't consider themselves in emergency or in crisis. And so we want them to know that this is simply a resource that they're able to access during their time at Hawkeye. So if it doesn't play, it's not a big deal. It's just a quick glimpse into the space. So. Oh, there it goes. A quick video welcoming you to the Hawkeye Student Food Pantry. So you can see that we are in room 232 Hawkeye Center, which used to be Rhonda McCrina's office. And in this office, we were fortunate to receive a grant from the Iowa DNR that provided us with funding to purchase commercial refrigerator and freezer units. And through our partnership with the Northeast Iowa Food Bank, we've been able to fully stock our pantry. This spring, we received a significant gift from PepsiCo through their Quaker food operations in Cedar Rapids. And so you'll see we have a ton of oatmeal and cereal and all sorts of stuff for students. As we move into our inventory of dry foods, our shelf-stable foods for students, we have a little bit of everything that you can imagine. So please, all students are eligible for food. We also have some snack items here for a student who may have forgotten their lunch and just doesn't have the means to purchase something. Please send them to the foundation office if they need service, or our regular hours are 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we hope that starting next week, we will have regular volunteers for that time. If ever the door is closed, they can just stop at the foundation and someone will help them. If you have any questions, please email Holly Johnson or Deb Lilly or Jenny Hoover, and we will absolutely help you out with those. Thank you. So that's our food pantry.
That's so awesome. I can't get over how awesome that is, because I cannot, like, there were so many times when I was in school, I was like, I just need some food. And it was back before GPSs were a thing and I didn't know where to go. And that's awesome.
The other thing is that it's not, we ask an income question, but it's not that students have to qualify to use it. It's a self-determined need. And so the only reason that we ask that question, and it's is your income over or above or below this income level for the week, month, or year? And then that's just how we mark the distribution type so that we can continue to work with the food bank. So it's not a really long application process. We ask some questions and then we note each student's visit and then off they go. But all of that information is kept confidential.
That's seriously awesome. I have never heard of a college doing that, but I don't talk to a lot of colleges in my line of work. So, but that's really cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So next we have business and community, I believe, Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. While I'm not new to Hawkeye, I am new to my position. I am the community education manager at the Business and Community Education location, also known as the Cedar Falls Center to many people. Like the Adult Learning Center, we are kind of a little bit removed from the main campus. Basically, what we specialize is the short-term training. So getting students like credentials for CDL, construction equipment operator, IT specialist certificates, some healthcare. We also have some apprenticeships for, again, healthcare, construction and trades. We also have the We Build for a pre-apprenticeship. So getting people a bit of exposure to 13 different construction trade areas. And that is an NCCR certified kind of pre-apprenticeship. We also address upskilling in the area. So if we have some people that want to sign up for short-term classes to get a new certificate, get a new license, maybe move through their existing career into a different position. And we work very closely with wraparound services through GAP, PACE, Ticket to Work. So GAP and PACE are going to help with a little bit of that financial assistance, depending if it's a credit or non-credit, and then Ticket to Work, people who are Social Security disabled or Social Security income can get some transportation. And in the near future, we are trying to work on our peer program, which is a pathway for education and employment for reentry. People that are in first judicial district trying to re-enter into the workforce. And that is a new program that we're kind of exploring and hoping to get 120 individuals within the first year of the program. We do work with the other campuses. I know that Laura talked a bit about the IATs, so getting some people with the construction classes out here to do some of their labs, and also some of the individuals going to the CDL. I am very, very comfortable, and I know that there are a few other members of staff that are comfortable working with ELLs, immigrants, refugees in the area. My goal is to approach kind of the level that Laura and her staff are at with regards to everybody here being comfortable working with ELLs and people coming in that maybe are from a different country. English isn't their first language, but we still want to get them that assistance. We still want to connect them with some short-term training. I know that we do work very closely with Tyson and their maintenance program. So we do have some of those folks that have been working at Tyson for quite some time. They want to get off the floor or doing those very repetitious jobs and get some upskilling so they can work on the machines themselves and just kind of branch out that way.
Awesome. Any questions for Lucas?
Yes, I have a question. Now, it said citizenship classes. Are those typically held at a particular location, or is it virtual? How is that done?
Typically, those would be at the Adult Learning Center, and there would be either an instructor or a volunteer that Laura would set up. Correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, but I think that's still how it's gone.
Yes, that's correct. And the only thing to know is that they are offered for the students that are currently enrolled with us. That was one I didn't get on my slide, but that is one of those extra classes that they're able to take, and it's limited due to funding. In the past, we did run actually a citizenship class through the Cedar Falls Center for a short time, and that's a potential for the future. The other thing I would say is some elements of citizenship preparation are also integrated into our ELL classes as well.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Other questions? Okay. Okay. Do we have other representatives from Hawkeye that haven't spoke yet?
I can go.
Jennifer, hello.
Hi. All right. I am Jennifer Beck, the Director of Inclusion and Success Services. We were previously the TRIO program and now under a new name. We provide intensive one-on-one support for underrepresented and underserved students, and our immigrant and refugee students usually fall into these categories. We do work with many immigrant, refugee, and English language learning students. We aim to be a one-stop shop for everything college. So, you know, we have all these great resources on campus. Some students are overwhelmed by that. And so when students are a part of our program, it's a program you apply to, then they can come to us for everything. And if we aren't able to help them, we will connect them with the right resources. So we do academic advising, we do tutoring and assist with their homework. We do help connect with resources in the community and locally. I would say for most of our students, they find that the transition to college, we're able to really help with that and just navigating the policies and the procedures on campus, understanding how to use the technology, understanding the instructor's expectations and how to go have a conversation or to send them an email, what's appropriate to be able to ask questions about or to kind of push back on some things. And then after that initial transition, we find that our students just really like to be in this space. It's a very comfortable, homey space. We have a computer area, we have a study area, we have tutors in here, we have our full-time staff serve as academic advisors and just generalists for everything. And so students will come in here, hang out, we have snacks, we have coffee, they'll come in and do their homework or study. And then if they get stuck while they're doing something, there's someone they can ask a question to, so they're not, you know, spinning their wheels. Often what we find is that the way that questions are asked in homework might be confusing, and we can help to like chunk it out and break it down. Or maybe there's like an academic language issue. There's a term that doesn't translate well, you know, and so then we can help to explain what that means so that the student isn't sitting there, you know, spending a lot of time on something that should be a quick fix. So we do serve a limited number of students, but I can also say that we do prioritize our immigrant and refugee populations, our English language learners, ELL students. The best way to get connected with our program, there is an application online, but I would say most of our students get connected, most of our immigrant and refugee students get connected with us through Abby Martin at admissions or through someone at the Academic Learning Center. So when students are transitioning from the Academic Learning Center classes to main campus for these credit-bearing classes, a lot of times they will connect them with us. Or if Abby knows that somebody could benefit from being a part of our program, she will connect them with us. And so certainly the earlier someone applies, if they know they're coming to Hawkeye to main campus, the better. But we will almost always provide support for our immigrant and refugee populations, even when our program is closed or is full. So we definitely recommend that all of our immigrant and refugee students, all of our English language learners visit us, even if they haven't applied. So stop by and meet us and see the space.
Wonderful. Now, do you offer free popcorn days, or is?
You know what, we probably do. So I don't know if I should say this. There's a lot of people on here that even sometimes staff like to know what we have in here, because we usually have cereal and macaroni and cheese and granola bars and Pop-Tarts and ding dongs and Twinkies, and there's often cupcakes and cookies. We always have coffee, we always have tea, we almost always have hot chocolate. We do kind of set it at the back so that it's not, otherwise everybody would just come in and take it. And we do get some support from the food pantry for some things, but it's a lot of staff will just donate things. We'll have some students that will be like, oh, I want to contribute a case of water. We never ever would ask a student, but they choose to to do that. Yes, Lisa, insulin checks. I do have a sugar tooth, a sweet tooth. You can tell that I'm one of the people that buys the stuff. You know, it's like the stuff I won't buy at home because I know I'll eat it all. I'll buy it for the office and be like, oh, maybe I should have a ding dong today. No, I actually don't eat that, but there's plenty of other things that are tempting. So,
and
but we do find that is part of what makes it a real comfortable place to for students. Like there's something about feeding people that makes them feel cared for. And so we're actually really intentional about that. That's actually the reason that we do this.
Yes, I was going to bring that up because I feel like it's like that biological factor. Like if you're hungry or like tired and stuff, you're not going to function well. So the idea of like having that inviting environment by having the food and stuff is awesome.
Yeah, we know in the K-12 system that we have to make sure that kids get a, you know, nutritional meal. We have to make sure we're feeding them because it impacts their ability to learn. But once they get to college, we just assume that they have the resources and the access to the food that they need that keeps that same brain power going, basically. And that's often not the case, especially we're getting to the point in the year where financial aid money might be dwindling. And we're getting middle of November. This tends to be the time where money's running out, paycheck isn't coming for a couple of weeks, and there's a need for that. I don't know if Holly sees this, but a greater need, I think, for some of the resources we have available. And so, yeah, we try to anticipate those needs and meet them for all students, but we do try to look through the lens of the experience of our immigrant and refugee students specifically as well.
Now, Jennifer, you had said, so it was formerly called TRIO. What is your program called now again?
We are Inclusion and Success Services.
Okay.
Or some people might call it ISS.
Perfect.
Now we're currently located in Bremer Hall, but we are going to be moving over to Hawkeye Center, I believe in the spring. So that's why I say connect with Abby or someone from the Adult Learning Center, and they will make sure that the students are connected with us. There's also the information on the website, but
the area in which you're going to, Jen, is where free popcorn always was. So maybe you need to.
That's a good point. I'm a big fan of popcorn. I'm not opposed to this idea. I like it.
We have a popcorn maker. We just don't have the people power to make it happen all the time. So
we might be able to work that out.
I'm in.
We might be able to work that out.
Awesome. All right. Any other representatives from Hawkeye that haven't gone yet?
I think I'm the last one, and
Perfect.
I'll be short. So my name is Sarah Kinkle. I am the student care coordinator here on campus, and what that means is I work with students holistically, and usually it's kind of more time intensive to help them jump over some barriers or hurdles they may be experiencing so we can get them to graduation. So some of those things can be homelessness, financial hardship, budgeting if they've received a financial aid award and making that last throughout the whole semester, working on childcare, access to different health resources, basic need resources. Also work with new parents if they're having a child for the first time and making sure they're connected to what they need to be ready for that child to come. So that's just some of the things that I do, and I work very closely. My office is also located in Hawkeye Center in Student Services with Lisa Zaleski, as she mentioned before. So right next to the advising team and where ISS will be as well, right in the middle of both of those offices, so we can help provide that holistic service for students.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. Like just going back to that holistic point, like you do all the things. That's wonderful. Like you cover a lot of things that like most people don't consider in the college experience, you know? So that's great that you have these different resources available. All right, questions for our Hawkeye friends.
Yes.
Hi, Julie.
Hello. Thank you all for sharing. I have a question. I don't know if it's for Laura, Abby, or Jennifer. So I'm Julie. I'm a community health worker here, and I'm from the Congolese community. So I have a question about I have some community members who are not interested to do college. They went to school in Congo, they have degree, but they don't want to go far away with school because maybe of the age and responsibility. but they just want like to improve the English, but they feel like going to Hawkeye, like, I don't know, the adult education is like a too slow process. So my question is like, do you guys have like something else, like a tailored like education, like English class that may help them to have just the English skills, like for the everyday life, without them like going to college or university? So that was my question.
So at the Adult Learning Center, our English language learning classes, do very much focus on improving just English, but for kind of everyday life. However, it's really also intended to help people who are wanting to go on to get further education, or who are wanting to get jobs or better jobs or different jobs. It's a little bit hard because we have to meet everybody's needs with the same classes in that sense. But every class and every level we have are going to have all of those components. I mean, so they'll have the English with reading and writing and listening and speaking and grammar and vocabulary. There's the citizenship component. There's digital literacy, working with computers. There's elements of how to get a job, how to write a resume. There are things like connecting them with main campus when Abby is there, or we'll have other things that we do to help them learn about main campus. Sometimes we have employer visits, we'll have various agencies visit. And so there's a lot of that kind of all together. And one of the challenges that we have is that, we have both students who have not been to school before, and we have students and maybe haven't worked professionally outside of the home before. And then we also have students who have advanced degrees and have been working professionals for a long time. And all of those students are here in our program. And so it is a balance between not going too slow and not going too fast at the same time, doing what we can to kind of meet each individual's needs. But if somebody already has some English already, then they're likely to be in one of our higher level classes, which are able to move faster. Sometimes somebody might need to start off in a lower level class to get some of the basics down, but then might be able to move through our levels a lot faster. Those who don't have as much English and aren't as comfortable, might need to take a longer time to work their way through our classes. Does that answer? I'm not sure how much that answers.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah, I know it's hard for you too, but it's questions that people come to ask me because we have like a church, and I am one of the leaders of the church. When people ask questions, usually they come to me, and sometimes I don't know where to start with them. And I was like, let me ask them questions since they're all here.
I can also add to what Laura had to say. She talked a little bit about IBEST programs as well in her previous slide. So that's where when they're taking the higher level English language learning classes, they can still gain a skill in CNC, truck driving, or their CNA, their certified nursing assistant. So they're still getting that touch of college while they're gaining their English skills. And so that was called
IBEST.
IBEST.
IBEST is the name of the program.
Yep, IBEST, but they would have to be enrolled in our ELL programs. And so I see a lot of students who want to come to main campus because we do have an ESL class on main campus, but they have to pay the traditional tuition to take classes here. So that's usually roughly $207 per credit, which if they're taking a 3-credit course, that's over $1,000. So I encourage my students to go to the Adult Learning Center, because then there are also scholarships like the Next Step Scholarship, for example, that they are able to be awarded when they graduate from our Adult Learning Center. Where they buy a class, they get a class free. And when they start at our Adult Learning Center and gain the English skills there, then they can use that scholarship towards maybe if they need a couple more ELL classes on main campus and then enter. But we want our students to start off at the Adult Learning Center first, because that's where it's free. That's also where they have evening classes and daytime classes offered. So whereas our ELL program is only in the daytime. So my ELL students cannot come and take evening classes with us, but they can at the Adult Learning Center. So I have a lot of students have been coming into the admissions office wanting to take the classes, and I try to encourage them to go to the Adult Learning Center first because it's free and they have that IBEST program.
Yeah, because I know people who are even ready to pay for it if it's available for them, but that's okay. I got it.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
To answer your question about home country, you said that they might have had college in their home country.
Yeah, most of them, they have like bachelor degree and all kinds of diploma. But
so I can help assist them with sending their transcript to a third party to get evaluated, but that is very costly. And so I encourage a lot of my students to gain the English skills, and then to if they have the money to get their transcript evaluated, they can do that, and then we can relook at that. But a lot of the times of the way the syllabus lines up, I don't know. I normally just send that to Lisa's team to evaluate. So I'm not sure how many classes do get transferred over from their home country to the US. But I do help students get it to the point where they pay to have their transcripts be sent and be translated to English.
So when they send it to you, so are they going to take class according to what they had like back home, or they will start everything's over?
So they send their home country information to this third party resource to have their transcript to be evaluated, and then the English transcript gets sent to us.
Okay.
Of how it all would be translated.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yusuf, did you have something?
Yes, just one thing, again, from a career coaching and advising perspective, from someone who is an immigrant and his English is a second language as well. I also had my bachelor's degree at home in Egypt, and before I came here, took my second bachelor's degree, and then took my master's. We need to make our students, especially those who come from refugee and immigrant background, to understand that there is a process. It takes time, it takes effort. A lot of the refugee and immigrants, especially younger generations or second generation of refugees, right? They want things quickly and fast, right? I know the struggle that you mentioned is specifically targeting the first generation who's coming from home with their degrees already. They want to take the time to learn, right? They want to just, they have responsibility. It takes a lot of their time. They don't have the time. The system takes them and sucks them in, and there's no time to come and improve their education in order to improve their position within the system. So I think one thing that you can work on as someone who's giving guidance to this community is to focus on expectations. So here's the thing, this is what to expect. That takes time, it takes commitment, it takes expenses, and you have to commit to it to reach to the goals and to reach to the results. And if you don't do that, then there's no gonna be any improvement. Yes, there's gonna be times where it's gonna be the evenings where you're not gonna have to spend a lot of time with your family. You have to sacrifice that in order to improve your English or get a second, whether it be a technical degree or certificate through the IBEST program, right? So it's for me, as someone who comes from a career coaching perspective and also migrant perspective, setting the expectations. And also there's the cultural part of it as well. Like, here in the US system, the trust or giving somebody I trust that you're going to be able to do the job based on the task itself versus what we have, let's say, in the African common culture, is in the relationship in group versus out of group, right? The American system is based on certifications, academic qualifications, experiences. So yes, you see here, for example, Abby saying yes, you have a bachelor's degree back home, but we need to see what is that equivalent here, right? So yes, there's a process to everything, but it takes time, and this is what you should expect as so yes, so you should just clarifying the expectations for them in terms of commitment, I think helps a lot. And this is something helped me when I was initially starting to get into the process and getting my second bachelor degree and whatnot. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure.
Hi, Julie and everyone. It's always great seeing you and sharing this space together. And thank you to everyone who has shared, and to Tracy for hosting the meeting. I just want to thank you for your question. I currently work at Habitat for Humanity here in Waterloo, and I'm kind of a point of contact and an advocate for many things, including education, housing, and many others. And I just want to affirm your observation that there is a lack of resources for members of the Congolese community, from what I've observed in many of our institutions, which is not the case for all newcomers to our country, but it is particularly the case for immigrants and refugees who are from African countries. And so I'm really hoping that's something that all of us can work on together. And also, I'm often dismayed when I notice that we have folks coming to our community who are highly educated, who are attorneys or medical providers. I have a friend who's a midwife, and she delivered over 500 babies and has advanced training back home, actually in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but is not able to practice here. And so, you know, I think, not to be too theoretical, but in my mind, you know, when we talk about inclusion, this is the work, is breaking down some of those barriers that our institutions have put in place and making sure that we can embrace the knowledge, skills, and experiences that everyone brings to this community, because that is a loss for all of us when someone like that is working at Tyson's. And so, you know, I think we all have a lot of work to do. I'm hoping that we can all do that together. And, you know, Julie, I'm following your lead, and definitely have a lot to learn as well. But it's a big concern that I have. And so I'm hoping that we can continue to work together in that question. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying, Anna. That's just in this community across the board. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to better accommodate these situations. But yeah, as well as like this process of going and getting this education and then being a skilled person in a specific field, and then coming here and having to do something that completely opposite of what you were doing before. So that must be hard. So yes, I'm happy to hear that Hawkeye does have some stuff underway to help with that. And that other entities are, you know, hearing that, but hopefully we can keep the ball rolling on that. So but it is 3:15. This is always my favorite time, though, when we go over, I'm like, we did a good thing. There was conversation. So that's awesome.
Can I mention one
sure.
thing real quick? So I just wanted to say that one piece that doesn't sometimes get discussed is what immigrants and refugees in the community bring to Hawkeye, not just as students, but as Yusuf already kind of alluded to, as employees, as part of the larger community. And so Julie, especially talking about, you know, some folks that you might know who do have better English skills, try to encourage them to apply for open positions. I know right now there are quite a few. So yeah, whatever.
You mean at Hawkeye, do you have open position there?
Yeah, so I don't think we have anyone from HR on the call, but if you go to the Hawkeye webpage, there is through Human Resource Services, there's a listing of all the current both full-time and part-time positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what Lisa is getting to is that we want our campus to be more diversified, and we want the immigrants to be and refugees of this Cedar Valley to be represented on campus. So if you yourself or anybody else in your community, you see them qualified for any of the positions posted at Hawkeye, please apply or encourage others to apply as well. And we want to have more people here with us that are representatives of the community that we are all part of.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. I will spread the word.
We are also launching an AmeriCorps program. We'll have a number of different positions available, and We absolutely want to include the immigrant and refugee population in those who are considering those positions while they might be going to school. We have some that are more extensive as far as the hours go, but if someone's looking for a service oriented position to learn more about the community while they're going to school and gaining those skills, I just dropped a link in the chat as well, and we'll be recruiting for those. They'll be working with student resources with my area. They'll be working in Jennifer's area with the ISS, and then we will also have some with our We Build program, one of the programs that Lucas works with.
Awesome. All right. So thank you all so much for everything today. This has been super insightful. I was taking notes and I'm sure other people were too. But yeah, this has been super informative. We will not be meeting. This is a bi-weekly thing that we do here at the community forum. We will not be meeting on what is today, the 26th. We will not have a meeting because I will not be in the office. So, but we do have the next one that's coming up is actually on December 10th. So you are all welcome to attend as well if you are available. But on December 10th, we will be having an HIV STD panel. And so we're going to have some representatives from Hawkeye County Public Health as well as IDPH discussing HIV STDs, what to do about them, how to help people who are going through that, and also the resources that are available in the community to help people that are experiencing that. So please feel free to attend. It's going to be the same link that you already have that you followed here today if you have time. And we have some other things in the works for the coming weeks after that. So at any rate, thank you all so much for your time today. This has been a pleasure. And yeah, have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.